Hello students, the part 1 of pricing that we have discussed was on the meaning of pricing, the importance of pricing we have discussed there. Then we have discussed about the cost determinant of pricing and the methods of pricing. And here also we're going to have discussed certain others determinant of price, and that is here on your screen. That first one is stages of the product life cycle. Then second one is the competition. Third one is distribution strategy. Fourth one is promotion strategy. And then last one is perceived quality. So these are the factors that influences the price, and we call it determinants of price also. So the first is we're going to have discussed about the stages of life cycle, and that is the on your screen, where one particular line is on the graph that shows that how a price can variate throughout the life cycle of a product. So initially at the introductory stage, the price is normally fixed high because all the R&D cost and the marketing cost are normally involved with the product at the initial stage that we have discussed in our last slide about the markup price, where other than cost, the company have added their profit margin plus other expenses also. Then at the growth stage, the price becomes stable. It's not going to much variate, not going to much high, and it's stable because at the time the growth stage is there, company is more concentrating on the product expansion and the market expansion. Then maturity stages there. At the maturity stages, the three particular stages of maturity are there. We are also lower side, then at the peak level, and again is going to decline in the same stage. So that is why the maturity stage is considered to be the very crucial stage of the products. In that stage, the company normally trying to decrease the products prices because to increase the market sale, because company want to capture maximum market at the maturity state. They want to maximize their sale as possible as they can, right? And when at the decline stage the products decreases, the declining the sale of the product is decreases, and they're trying to again decrease the price just to maintain that sale, then is stable. And again, when company is trying to introduce again certain new features in the product to gain the sale of that product again with some change in variance, then it going to be high also. Then distribution strategy. Under distribution strategy, convincing distributors to carry product. The first one is offer a large profit margin, and second one is give dealers a large trade allowance. So what kind of distribution strategies normally at the time of pricing the company should have to follow? Here, that convincing distributor strategy is to what carry product is first offer a larger profit margin. So what happens initially when you are going to have sale in the product into the market, then what exactly company want? Company want that the distributors should have to carry your product, right? If the distributors are not carrying your product, if they are not ready to sell your product, then it's quite difficult for you to reach the market at very large, right, scale. And if you need a penetration, then you need a more distributors help and support. So in that case, the first offer that normally companies give it to the distributors is a profit margin, larger profit margin. So the maximum the sale they're going to have go do for that product, the maximum the margin they're trying to give it to the distributors to just to make them carry their product, and then give dealers a large trade allowance. Otherwise, other than this, if they will going to have work upon the trade allowances also. Trade allowances in the sense if you're going to have target certain sale of the product, and if you're going to achieve that, then certain trade allowances the companies are giving to the distributors, right? Then what is the price strategy? Price strategy means a basic long-term pricing framework which establishes the initial price for a product and the intended direction for price movements over the product life cycle. So basically, normally the companies have framework of that particular product strategy is established initially only at the time of product launch, and then this strategy is going to be changed throughout the product life cycle of the product. Then choosing a price strategy. So what kind of price strategies the companies should normally follow? So these are what called are basic strategies for setting prices. First one is price scheming. Second one is penetration pricing, and third one is status quo pricing. Price scheming is normally a kind of policy, or you can say strategy of price, where the company is trying to get a maximum margin on the sale of the product. They charge the highest price of their product into the market based on what kind of product they are providing to the customer, and by different marketing and different other promotional tools, they set up their pricing at very high level by showing the particular product's image into the market, right? So initially in the price scheming, the price of the particular products are very high, and then it is lower over a time as per the market conditions. And certain factors also there, that basically situations are there that basically makes the scheming more successful. Situations when price scheming is successful, when it is become successful, then when first is inelastic demand. What does that mean by inelastic demand? Inelastic demand means what? When the change in the price of the product is not much varying due to the demand is not much varying due to the change in the price of the product. Like for example, if you can say the petroleum products, if the petroleum product become more price is getting more high, then still that much of demand is not going to be have variate, right? So whenever the inelastic demand is there, then at that time price scheming is going to be effective. But if you're going to have charge also high, then demand of that product is not going to be getting low. Then superior products, if you're going to have provided a superior product, and if that company is reflecting or propagating or advertising their product in such a way that it's going to be you can say the customer can perceive that product as a superior product, then also the price scheming is not giving much impact on the demand of the product. Then legal protection of products. So when you have any kind of copyright, and if you have any kind of unique products that is not much in the market, the competitors are not much in the market, in that case also you can charge high from the customers, and then customers can ready for pay it also. Then technological breakthrough, the same thing. If you have get certain new products that is not into the market, technology, it is technologically, if it is very unique one, then also the price scheme not impacted much on the sale of the product. Then limited production, if you have produced your product and if you have manufactured certain limited kind of productions, and that's propagated into the market and positioned into the market, into the mind of customer in such a way that then also the pricing, high pricing can have not much impacted much on the sale of the product, right? So these are all situations where scheming can be successful also. Then next one is penetration pricing. A pricing policy is whereby a firm charges a relatively low price for a product initially as a way to reach the market. So normally penetration pricing is normally when the company is decided for this penetration pricing, when the company's product is targeting a mass, you can say mass people and the mass market, right? So they want, if the market have very high potential to cover, then the penetration pricing is there to reach to the maximum into the market, right? So in that case, the pricing penetration pricing is there. Then what is the advantages is what discourages or blocks competition from the market entry. When you have selling your products on certain penetration pricing, in that case very few competitors are there, those are basically want to compete with you, because in the high penetration pricing, normally the companies have very low margin to get from that particular product. So that's why most of the companies are not trying to compete with the companies those are basically working on penetration pricing, because it can impact their profit margins. Then disadvantages requires gear up for mass production. So if the disadvantage is what, if you are targeting the penetration pricing, then definitely you should have to gear up for the mass production. The production should be at very large scale, right? And that too for the mass market. Then selling large volumes at low prices. Same thing. If you have producing at very large scale, then you should have to sell it also at very large scale, and you should have to cover a maximum market, or you have to cover the mass market, right? Then strategy to gain market share may fail. Sometimes what happens, if you have uh, if to penetrate to the market, if you have lower down the price, then sometimes it miss can say impact, or can say giving a wrong impact on the customer also, or you can your strategy to gain market share may fail also, right? Then status quo pricing means they are not much changing throughout the product cycle of the particular product. Pricings are not much changed. Whatever the pricing is there in the initial level, it should be at the last level also. So that is the meaning of status quo pricing. Status quo means maintaining whatever it is, right? First one is simplicity, not much change in that. Then safest route to long-term survival for small firms. Normally, what happens? Penetration pricing, price skimming, are these kinds of strategies that those are basically experimented by the companies. Those are working at very large scale. Those are basically their presence are on national and international level. But these kinds of strategies are normally not tested and experimented by the small firms, because they have not much to experiment all these things. Don't have much backup with them. So that's why this kinds of status quo pricing is normally maintained by the companies. Those are small firms. Then strategy may ignore demand or cost. Now what happens, if you have maintaining, that is disadvantage, major disadvantage, and one disadvantage only. If you have maintaining a status quo pricing, then you should not have consider this demand or cost. You don't have to be concerned much on what is the demand of the particular product, what is the cost that we have to bearing on it. So whatever it is there, you have to maintain that only, right? So these are all about. Now the next one is the legality and ethics of price strategies. What should be the ethics in fixing any pricing strategies or planning any pricing strategies for the companies? The issues that limit the pricing decisions are based on four important factors: unfair trade practices, the first one, then price fixing, second one, then price discrimination is third one, and predatory pricing is the last one. First, we want to have discussed on unfair trade practice acts, laws that prohibit wholesalers and retailers from selling below cost. Sometimes what happened, there are many laws across the states, across the country, that prevent this wholesalers and retailers to not to sell a particular product below a particular MRP or cost, right? That is the normally what happen. State-wise, the taxes are varying, and sometimes one state have less taxes, another state have more taxes. So the state having more taxes, the distributors and retailers, they're trying to sell, they're trying to get the products from the state where the taxes are less. So why they have did like this? Because the margins they have is less, and that state people have more, so they are trying to get the product from that particular state. So this is normally comes under unfair trade practices acts, and many laws are already government have formed for this kinds of to protect these kinds of unfair trade practices. Then price fixing, an agreement between two or more firms on the price they will charge for our products. That is also, you can say, unethical when on for two or three companies are there in a whole industry. those are producing certain products. So if these kinds of industries are there, or these kinds of firms are there, those can combinedly then they have work upon it, and they will fix the price of certain products that will going to that charge that much from the customer. If it is high also, then customers have not much, you can say, option. They have to purchase it from them only. So that is also, you can say, unethical practices that normally industries are practicing, and that should not be there. That should not be, or can say, practiced in the market, right? Then price discrimination is one of the very important concept of the pricing strategies, where it is what exactly it means: prohibits any firm from selling two or more different buyers at different prices if the result would lessen competition. So what happened? Same product is there, and that same product, based on the level of the customer, the companies normally they are selling that product. So that is also not much, you can say it's ethical practices. But price discrimination is basically based on certain factors, like the seller defenses, what we call it, but the benefit of seller, how the seller have defenses themselves from putting this price discrimination activities, pricing strategies. First one, they can get the cost to of their products from the sale of product. Then based on market condition, they will charge the things from the customer. And then competition also one of the factors that basically can say impacted upon this price discrimination strategies, right? So one important thing is what in this price discrimination, if you have this kind of practices are more ethical also in the market. For example, airlines, in the airlines, you will find that the same seat booking is there, the same bookings. Initially, it is lower prices, or initially it is higher prices, and later it become more prices, or vice versa. Sometimes you got the same price, same seat you will going to get at the price of rupees 2,500, and the same seat someone else have booked at the rate of 7,000 rupees per seat. So that was the very huge difference in the same product that airline is going to sell to the customer. So in these kinds of strategies, price discrimination have set in different logic, because the kind of, you can say, demand and supply functions normally these kinds of industries are normally following. And in this kinds of industry, price discrimination is not much considered in unethical practices, right? Then one predatory pricing is also there, the practice of charging a very low price for a product with the intent of driving competitors out of the business or out of a market. So this is called a predatory pricing, and this is a totally unethical pricing strategies, where the big companies have sold their products at very lower cost, not to earn profit, and just to, can say, driving out competitors from the market, right? So this is normally called unethical practices. And this kinds of practices, earlier it was done by many MNCs. If you're going to have search on the net, you will going to get that examples also, right? So this is overall about the pricing unethical practices, or you can say the ethics in the pricing strategies. Okay. Now we're going to have discuss the next topic in the next slide.